Hi, this is Raymond, and I forgot to open up the goddamn intro script. But that's fine, because I pretty much remember it off by heart. Hi, I'm Raymond, and you're listening to Insert Quest here. Today we're going to be playing, damn it! Stuffed it up straight away! Enjoy that, listeners, on the off chance I decide not to edit this one. Hi, I'm Raymond, and you're listening to Insert Quest here. Today's quest is Base Raiders. This is our adventure base raiding campaign. This is Heat 2, episode 4 or 5, I think.
I think 4.
4. Yeah.
Yeah, this is episode 2 of Heat 2. It'll make sense when you're looking at it on the website. It'll make sense to you. It just doesn't make sense to us yet. Last run, Finn couldn't make it, so we had the other two. They had their characters do a bunch of prep work while Yuri was tuning the car for desert conditions.
Cool.
Hand customizing the tire tread and things like that. I've seen monster truck rallies. I know that that's a thing. Yeah, so we'll pretty much be starting off, I say, early in the morning on the day of the race. That gives Yuri time to customize, do anything that he needs to, and everyone else should be ready to go. But let's introduce ourselves, starting with Ryan.
All right. Hey, everybody. I am Ryan. You might recognize my voice from the Ragnarok podcast, if indeed you listen to that podcast, which you should. And I will be playing Amriel, the fallen angel who was summoned to Earth and is now trapped in the mortal plane, and is a competitive base raider. Next.
I'm Finn from the internet. I am playing Yuri, the former Dakar-style racer who died in a horrible crash, came back to life as a cybernetic samurai soldier, and is now trying to rekindle his meaning in life by becoming a professional base raider.
I think the Dakar race is classed as an off-road endurance rally.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. And I am Alex. You might also recognize my melodious baritone from the Ragnarok podcast. And I am playing Greg. He is a sentient alien nanoswarm sent here as the forward scout of an invasion force, but by the time he got here, his race had been conquered themselves, so no more invasion. And he is a cloud, and if you step inside of him, he kind of smells like a fart.
Oh, dang. Cool. All right. So the way that the camp is laid out is pretty much the same in terms of where all the vehicles are placed, but this time the viewer/fan camp is not on the other side of your racing area to you. It's actually just adjacent. So they've got you guys sort of fenced in on the edge of this. It kind of looks like a town on the map, but it's essentially a petrol station in the middle of the Gobi Desert. There's a large fuel dump, and it doesn't look like there's any houses there. So, Raider was like, yep, that's the one. That's where we're setting up. There'll be heaps of fuel, even though only 2 of our races use traditional fuel sources, will be set. So all the sponsors and all of that, and all of the other various groups that come here and set up camp have, come in. There's an Absolute Vodka truck here that's got a bunch of Chinese branding all over it because they just drove it from Shanghai or wherever, well, from Beijing or wherever to here, and set it up. And all that sort of stuff, just beyond the little perimeter fence that is keeping you guys isolated from your fans. There's a lot of reporters and stuff. Someone from your team, Amriel, did a Q&A yesterday as well. And it got some good responses. Some people were pretty into it, so there might be opportunity to do that in the future. But yeah, it's time to prep for the race. Yuri,
Yes.
you know people from your former life, right?
I'm not really.
They probably don't know you.
Yeah, I mean, like I know of them, and I assume some of them are still around. Given that, like, I'm pretty sure I died in the I was thinking like the 80s, but
Yeah,
I don't
some of
I don't
them-
think I've been in contact with them necessarily that much.
Right. Well, so the reason that I changed the way the base stuff is laid out for this one, not the base camp rather, is in part for you to have the opportunity, if you want to exploit that, because it's conceivable that some of those people might be here because this is a pretty good networking event.
Right.
Yeah, so they'd be on the other side of the fence. It's a popular racing event. The Dakar's not on at the moment. So this is a good place to network with other race teams, recruit. People might come here to do deals with TKS, because TKS race team also produce racing parts now. Like they have a small fabrication shop. They sell part designs. So like someone might be here negotiating with TKS to try and get we need some special proprietary tires that nobody else is going to have. We need to get an edge. They're like, yeah, sure, we'll sell you some tires. How about these? They change shape dependent on the material they're in contact with. Yeah, that sounds like what we want. Yeah. We stole the idea from a Hot Wheels TV show. Yeah. So, that sort of a stuff, if you so want, or you can just do some crafting on the car.
I'm not sure. I guess. Yeah, see, there's nothing. Well, I guess I'd really only go and chat with them, but I'm not really sure what I'm looking to gain.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I just wanted to let you know that sort of a thing is going to be available in the future.
Yes. I think possibly at this point, like, whether this is possibly one of the first events that Yuri's been at that, like, anyone else he might have known might also be at, kind of thing.
Yeah, indeed.
And, like, whether or not, I feel like given that, well, he doesn't have the same name he had when he was alive. So that, like, I'm not really sure anyone else, like, who he formerly knew necessarily knows who he is.
Indeed. You'd have to approach them in order to make that happen, because the only thing, they might recognize your driving style or something, but I don't...
Yeah, and I assume there'd be rumors of, like...
I don't really think driving style is that identifiable to be...
Yeah, I assume there'd be rumors given that, like, it's known that I was, like... Yeah, a rally raid racer in the past, so people would be like, well, that limits the number of people it could be.
Now I'm picturing like a grizzled old man standing on the sideways with his eyes wide, and someone goes, "Hank, you look like you've seen a ghost," when he watches me driving.
He's watching this drive.
Maybe
I guess I could do that.
I like that.
There's no fictional reason why I couldn't. There's only like real world assumptions, and I'm like, nah. I don't even think, like, you often see in movies, like, people recognize someone's fighting style. I don't really think even fighting styles are that identifiable. It's like, oh yeah, that could be one of 1,000 people.
I would just say before you go do whatever you're going to do, Greg would have told Yuri, because Greg figured out that we probably have to go south, like a few 100 kilometers south to a different section of the Gobi Desert. It's not a very small area. It's about the size of Texas, I think.
No. It just looks like Texas.
It's still pretty damn big. It's like 200 kilometers across.
Yeah, but Texas can't be that big. As in, Texas is larger. Sorry, I phrased that wrong.
You're right.
I should have said Texas is not that small.
That's true. Texas is pretty big. But anyway, so I would have let Yuri know so he has an idea of like the distance we have to go and what other supplies we're going to need, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
There weren't a lot of landmarks when we looked at the Gobi Desert on maps, so we were just going off like the shape of the sand. But if you type in Gobi Desert, it brings you to a point on Earth near the bottom of, if it's spawned, it's in the same spot as last time. Can't actually tell.
It's the part next to the dune.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
dune.
That's real helpful. Yeah, last time it took us to a spot near like the bottom of Mongolia, but now I think this might be a different section.
Oh dear.
Look, no, where I'm at is bottom of Mongolia.
Yeah. I can't find the Texas shape anymore. I mean, they could have just updated the satellite imagery.
Texas is gone.
Anyway,
I was
whatever.
on a different point though. I was Greg. There's something you pointed out in your intro that like Greg was initially part of an invasion force, but your race got wiped out before that happened.
Yeah.
But have we had any kind of like? Are we aware that you're part of an invasion force?
I was. Greg was the forward scout for an invasion / like first contact mission.
Yeah,
it was
have
unclear.
Have you discussed this with the team?
I might have brought it up once or twice. I found the Texas again.
Oh yeah, cool. Do you want to drop a marker or something?
Yeah. I'm going to send it to you guys.
And then send us a link.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like that is an interesting discussion that we might not have had yet.
I'm pretty sure we've. I believe it has come up before.
Okay. We're aware you were potentially scoping out Earth as a.
Well, my species needed more resources. You guys have a lot of stuff.
We're all
Sort of,
you know.
Has anybody here watched? Did anybody watch Defiance?
Nope.
No.
Okay, so in Defiance, the aliens that come to Earth from their home planet, when they were looking at it, it didn't look like it was inhabited. Because they're like 200 light years away from Earth. It's like, it looks all right. It looks like we might do. So they came here, and then it was inhabited, and then it was like, oh, we're expecting it to be empty. So I guess we'll negotiate or whatever. It might have been in that situation.
Yeah. It did take Greg a while to get here because in the interim, Ragnarok happened and his race was enslaved.
Yep.
For some reason, I can't remember how to get links in Google Maps, but I'm working on it.
If you measure the direction between 2 points, you should then get some node thingies, some markers.
No, I know how to link it. Yeah, but it's not giving me. Oh, there we go. Ha ha.
You have to alter the map in some way so that you can send it to people. So, like, either measure direction, get directions to a location, or something like that.
There we go.
There is an easier way, but I can't remember how to do it. I see. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. What Yuri is gonna do?
Yep. There it is.
Essentially, I'm gonna go to the regular site. I'm not very inconspicuous. Can I go as something else?
You could go as the drone that your friend made last run.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking to like mill about a bit rather than like spy on everyone though.
You could put on some clothes.
True.
Put like a bandana around your face. Put on some
Wear a big puffy jacket.
Put on some desert goggles. Put on a hoodie because it's a cold desert. It's summer though when you guys are here.
Go in the evening.
Yeah, you could have gone the night before. That's fine.
Yeah. I'm gonna like dress up a bit to try and mask myself, and maybe just sort of like, I'm gonna sort of like mill about, try and like casually chat to some people, and essentially suss out who of anyone I might have known is here, rather like not actually engaging them, but just sort of curious / hesitant. To
All right,
know,
man,
like,
man,
people I know.
woman, or other.
Man.
Yes, man. I thought you said name, and I'm like, no, give me a gender first.
Man.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, you're walking around and you pass, pass some Asian alcohol truck thing. You know those truck bars where it's a semi-trailer that unfolds into a bar. Yeah. So you pass one of those, and you swear that you see, your old mechanic. What is your old mechanic's name and nationality?
Well, I was on a Japanese race team. So
That
he's
doesn't mean he
Japanese.
had to be Japanese. He could be from, but yep, sure, he's
I'll make him
Japanese.
I assume we probably also, had some, Russian or something as well. But, yeah, he's Japanese. And I don't know.
It's like European football teams. No one's from the country they're playing with.
Yeah. His name is Arata.
Arata? Nice. Yeah, you spot Arata. He's a lot older now. He's got a real scraggly beard. He looks like he's straight out of a samurai film with that beard. Some kind of wandering Ronin type face. Just in the face, though. He's got he's got like a dress shirt on. He's got the sleeves rolled up. He's got like some dress pants. So you think this might be... He's not dressed casually. This is clearly... I'm not going to wear a suit in the desert, but I need to look good.
Yep.
So it might be that he's at some kind of business meeting or something. They're having a few drinks.
Cool. I feel like I sort of spot him and then stop dead where I was walking, and then just kind of oblivious to everything else, sort of just stare at him awkwardly for a bit. Probably to the point where he then sort of notices me looking and looks over, and then I...
he glances at you, and then...
that awkward...
you guys are sort of looking at each other for a second or so, and then you hear the distinct beeping horn of a tuk-tuk right next to you, as it appears to be someone on a tuk-tuk with a tray is trying to get some, there's boxes of something on the back of it. They're trying to get it through the thoroughfare, and you're standing right in the middle, and so they're beeping the horn at you. And then
I step out of the way, and then as the tuk-tuk passes from his perspective, I'm then gone.
Yeah, and he's just like, I wonder who that strange man is that was staring at me.
Yeah. And I'll hurry back to camp to keep shooting the Datsun.
Yeah. So basically, because you spent the whole day shooting that, do you have a craft skill?
I don't have a craft skill.
Right. Well, so basically with that...
I assume I can do minimal. I assumed from having my background...
I'm not going to give you, a penalty for navigating on the sand, for example.
Yeah.
It's going to be, normal driving for the most part, until you come to, an obstacle, a serious obstacle.
Yeah, because I assumed from having my background in, transcontinental motorsport...
indeed.
That I, have enough knowledge to, adapt something to a rough condition.
Indeed,
Possibly.
you guys ordered some sand tires, and then you made some customization to the tread, and then you altered the suspension and stuff like that. The true survivors, they just watched the Top Gear episode about their car, so they're just like, oh yeah, we'll just lower the air amount in the tires. Will be good. They're making less modifications. We did mention this last game. It's not really clear what TKS is doing with their vehicle, but True Survivors have been maximizing their water storage and pretty much ditching everything else that they deemed non-essential. So, they've even got less food than they probably should have. and
Yep.
they've ditched a bunch of their tools because they know they're not going to find water out there, and they know they're not going to get to the base in less than a day. In fact, it's going to be next to impossible for anyone to get there in less than a day. Where's the measure distance tool? Actually, I think I just right-click. Measure distance between here and this town. It is 200 miles straight line from base camp to the middle of the Texas-shaped bit of sand.
Uh-huh.
And the Texas-shaped bit of sand is just the area to start. Oh, it does actually have a name, I think, in blue. There's something. Oh, there is something in here. Somebody took a photo of our house. Anyway, yeah, so it's 200 miles as the crow flies, or whatever desert birds lurk in the Gobi. Vultures, probably, I'd assume. Cool. So, next morning rocks around. Thankfully, you guys don't really so much need water. You probably want to bring some, though, because you'll probably need coolant for the 2 radiators that the Datsun 10,000 has.
Yep.
We got some.
Housing
We got like
things.
3 or 4 big jugs. Because I do need to drink.
Oh, cool. So you've got like got like a barrel of water in the back seat.
Yeah, Amriel slowing us down with her flesh needs again.
Well, the barrel
Sorry.
of water will help you balance the weight in the car some, I guess.
I guess it's just a ballast.
Right.
You can shift it around the back seat to go around corners faster. It's just like Waterworld. Is there anything anyone wants to do in the morning? No one's really seen what the Valkyrs are up to. TKS is not fans of you anymore.
And Greg
Yeah.
wants to start a vendetta against them.
Yeah, Greg's.
Oh no,
Oh,
Greg
okay.
wants to destroy them.
Yeah, Greg
Right.
wants to destroy them.
They threatened me with death. I do not take that lightly.
Did they threaten you with, like, were you actually in mortal danger?
They threatened to destabilize the molecules holding me together.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
And Koki threatened to put you in a wall.
Oh,
Put my head in a wall,
Yeah, he did.
which wasn't as threatening, but
not as threatening because lacking any
no,
kind
It
of.
was still disturbing.
It did help
Listen.
Greg formulate a hypothesis on the human obsession with walls, though. They're defensive weapons.
Yep.
They're like
You always have one on hand.
sidearms. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, that's fair, Greg. Really, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it would make our competition easier.
It would strategically.
I mean, by the rules, we're technically not allowed to destroy them, but
We are not allowed to directly destroy them.
Or, secondhand destroy them. We'd need a very. Look, okay. We'll see.
I don't know if the instructions are that specific.
Sure. Crime
But-
on Earth isn't very clean cut. Tends to be a lot of discussion about it afterwards.
It seems to be an inefficient method for dealing with perpetrators of crimes. But it is the human way, I suppose. Inefficiency seems to define your race.
Are you
Good.
guys ready?
Yeah.
I got my drone. It has the EM sensor. Yeah, I guess so.
Yep, I would say so.
All
I
right.
can't think of anything that Amriel would need to do.
So, because of, the race advisors don't really want to give away the location of the base, your camp is on the north side of town, and so your exit is also on the north side of town. So same rules as the last time. You drive for a minute out of the gate north, and then you get your random direction, and then you have to follow that random direction for 10 minutes.
Okay.
So you're on the start line. Does anybody want to trash talk any of the other teams? The Valkyries are there. They're freaking APC. It doesn't look like they've made any changes to it. They probably just put some water barrels inside. Because, what else would they need to do?
Yeah.
If it gets stuck in the sand, they'll probably just walk. Because that's the kind of people they are. You see the true survivors are there. They got their... They've got 4 dirt bikes this time, so that they can maximize the storage in their 6-wheeler.
Yep.
Because they need as much water as they can get, because they're all fleshy humanoids. They don't have a wizard cop. And TKS have camouflaged their car. It's got like a desert digital pattern on it. You see a few jerry cans strapped to the sides, and you also see some kind of strange device in the back tray where they have their fusion battery. There's some other thing in there. You've got super science, don't you?
Yes, I do.
You can try and identify what that is.
I will certainly try. Let's see. Where's my dice? Dice stream. There we go.
Bartman does his thing.
2 plus 2.
Plus
Add
2?
Ascendant tier.
Nice. That is some kind of moisture extractor.
Oh.
They are apparently hoping to get water out of the air.
This is TKS.
Yeah, TKS.
Now,
Sorry.
I assume Greg shares this with us.
Yes.
I sort of lean to Greg and I say, well, now that we think about it, we can't directly harm them, but that doesn't mean we can't starve them of resources. So they have to turn back.
I like your thinking. When you're driving, if you can get me closer, I could try to short out their water collector.
I might be able to do it.
We can like do whatever we want in that first sprint, right?
Yeah, you can attack them and stuff in the first sprint.
Yeah. And you said the water collector is strapped to the back, or it's in the car.
They have like it's sort of like a, what is the name of that car in America? It's sort of like an El Camino.
Right.
So it's got a tray,
so it's
like
like
a pickup bed.
Like a pickup bed, yeah. So they've got their big fusion battery takes up most of that, and then they've got their what do you call that thing?
Moisture collector.
Their moisture collector thing is in there, and then like a few other
it's out in the open.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, we could always, or we could try and do it without them noticing.
I can create a distraction.
Yeah, you could create a distraction.
We could follow them later.
Well,
do we have a fair idea where we're headed?
You have an idea of where you're going to start looking.
Okay.
Do they do the same thing? Like everyone just drives straight for a minute and then heads off in a different direction?
Yeah. I mean, you are all starting off heading away from where you need to go.
I just wanted to make sure that wasn't like just the first race. That's every race. So
every race starts that way.
Okay.
The other thing worth mentioning is that you know that the true survivors are heading to the same location as you, because that's where you got pretty much the information of where to look.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, we can always try and do it on the down low when they make camp.
Are they by their car now?
Yeah, everyone's on the race line. Like, this is like 5 minutes before you set off. The camera crews are affixing GoPros and stuff to your dashboards and things like that. There's a crowd of people here now. They've actually put up along disposable fences along where you guys are going to take off because, like, they don't want people rushing in front of you like idiots.
Yeah. They would do that.
You see two parents, it looks like, push their kid up over the fence, and then that kid sprints towards you, and like a bunch of camera crews are like trying to push him out of the way, and then the kid like grabs onto the side of your car and says, "Emriel, can I get your autograph?" as they pull the kid off your door.
Sure, kid. I will
reach out and sign them. They don't have anything in their hand.
Just like scorch it into his flesh.
Yes, a demonic sigil.
He's got a hat.
I will scorch a demonic sigil into his hat.
They're like, "Come on, Emriel, you know we gotta get this kid out of here." It's like, "All right, kid, you got your autograph. Get back up behind the line." They take him over the fence. There's some people yelling at people. Some officials are like, "You can't jump. There's a nuclear-powered assault vehicle there. You can't just jump the fence, all right? It's dangerous. I know we're kind of a lawless sport, you know, but
come on.
Come on. Show some respect for the races." You see the Valkyrie fan boys and girls all dressed up in clothing that must be uncomfortable to wear in the desert.
Isn't all clothing uncomfortable in the desert?
That's not true. Billowy robes trap cool pockets of air.
Oh, well, all right.
It's why, you know, desert peoples wear lots of clothing. You'd be like, "Well, it's hot." It's like, but... Same principle of how your hair is meant to work when it is thick.
Mine is luscious.
Yes, when you have thick reams of fur. All right, so the guys on the podium is like, "All right, Raiderheads, we're going to kick things off. This is probably going to be a long race. They're going to be combing that desert, searching out for Professor... Is it Professor Knox or something else? It's not Knox, because Knox was...
He was the last one, was he?
It was,
hang on,
Professor
I've got it here.
Nebulon.
Yeah,
Or Dr. Nebulon.
No, it's Professor because he's got 16 degrees or something. Professor, they're going to be combing the desert for Professor Nebulon's secret hideout. Who's going to find it? Who's going to die of dehydration? Who knows? Not me. Let's find out together. Racers, are you ready?
And then we all like rev enthusiastically.
Yep. Rev enthusiastically. The true survivors are all screaming out. None of them have motorbike helmets on.
Wait, do we refresh our fate points, or is that just between adventures?
You refresh your fate points between adventures, not between runs. Yeah, so they're all hooping and hollering. The Valkyries are doing nothing. You can see one of them is out the top of their top-mounted gun port thingy. They don't have any guns on it, though. Says nothing. They're just sitting there looking. But the crowds are cheering. They say, "On your marks, get set, race!" And then the lights go green and you all bolt.
Vroom.
You all sling out. The counter is ticking down. 50 seconds on the clock until you know which direction you need to head. I believe some of you wanted to
Can you
attack.
get us close to those TKS?
Sure. I can.
They switched up the race line order, so now the true survivors are between you and TKS. So you're either going to have to overtake the true survivors or let them get ahead of you so you can pull behind and then try and accelerate up next to TKS.
Or do something spectacular.
Or use your car's super shocks to jump over.
Yes, what we're going to do is 60 seconds out of this town, we're going to hit desert pretty soon, I assume.
You've already hit desert.
Yeah. Essentially, I want to they sort of pull off to the left of us, and I'm going to swerve up and then hit the peak of one of the dunes.
Yep.
And then sail over them, ideally.
All right. There's some small sand swells here. So it's you see that looking at the clock that you have, the countdown you have at the 20-second mark, you see that there will be a jump. So you can just try and accelerate up to that jump.
Yep. And then I want to angle it so we land on the other side of the.
Yeah. Is anyone else doing anything for the next 20 seconds until that jump hits?
I'm getting ready. I don't know if there's much else I can do.
Yeah. Amriel is going to jump out of the car when the car hits the apex of its jump.
Yes.
To try and lighten the load?
Partially, but also because
just to look cool on camera.
Both. Also, because she's the distraction. So what she's going to do is while they're pulling up alongside, Amriel is going to use her crazy demonic wing power and moonwalk backwards in front of the TKS car as they're driving, and maybe use her talents to kick up some sand.
All right. So the jump is quickly approaching. Make me a drive check, I guess.
Okay. Roll. Minus. And then my drive is +4 extraordinary. So I got +3 extraordinary.
Nice.
All right.
And okay, so also, okay, have you guys seen the it was the trailer for Forza Horizon 3? E3 this year. There's a moment in that where it's a giant desert truck just hits a dune and then it flies in the air and then as it hits peak it goes to slow-mo. But I want to have a bottle of Raiderade ready.
Okay.
Just arm on the windowsill, bottle of Raiderade in hand. Look to the drone out the window as we sail.
Yeah.
And then just nod.
You don't know for sure that there's a drone there because you're traveling so fast you can see it. So you're just I hope they get this on camera. They do, thankfully, because the race line is just a cloud of drones. That's going to make a pretty good ad. Raiderade really likes how on board for product placement your team is. I might have to give you guys some kind of gift or something next run for.
Yes.
You guys keep pulling good product placement. Oh, that's the other thing we forgot to mention to Finn. You guys picked up a second sponsor. You're now sponsored by Guten Abend, which is the failing European airline.
I forgot about that.
And you guys did a really terrible ad for them. So Greg was like, "There's so much room for me to spread out." And Jerry was like, "My wings don't get cracked." Emriel was like, "My wings don't get cracked." It was an attraction.
They have cup holders.
There's so many cup holders.
They have more cup holders than I do. Because I'm assuming Yuri's body has at least one cup holder on it somewhere. Not the car, the samurai.
I mean, if you
the samurai has 2 cup holders called hands.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so you clear that and you land on. Did you want to land on the far side of TKS?
No, I wanted to land between TKS and.
Could we land on TKS, or is
that would risk killing them? A car landing on another car, they could die.
Yeah. Okay.
Even with a roll cage.
Greg
like,
still has trouble getting the idea around of like corporeal bodies.
Yeah,
in Greg's defense, humans are really fragile, except when they're not.
Yeah.
exactly. Most of the people Greg has been spending time with are base raiders who are not as fragile as normal humans.
I mean, even baseline humans, you push them over and sometimes they'll die, and other times you cut off 2 of their limbs and they'll walk through the desert with no water for 3 days and come out the other side okay. So, it's really hard to gauge what's going to kill a person.
Yeah.
The key aspects of humanity are inefficient and unpredictable.
They've got them down.
I would like to use my inefficient aspect. That's my trouble. Amriel, you shoot out of the car. Describe your jumping out of the car as it flies through the air. That's going to look good on camera too.
Yeah. I'm assuming the car does. I'm assuming the car does like a little roll in the air. That's just the way
I don't know if it would.
I'm not imagining it turns over. We're not
It's
doing
not
a
a plus
backflip.
4.
It's not a fighter jet. It's still a car.
Yeah. All right. So no barrel roll there. All right. So as the car reaches its apex, Amriel twists and pushes herself out of the passenger window, I guess, and immediately spreads her wings. The car just kind of she lets it fall away from her, and then she swoops down in front of the TKS vehicle.
Yeah, they fucking try to swerve out of the way, and then I guess it's Greg's turn.
All right, so as Yuri pulls us up next to them and they swerve, Greg is going to... Wait, I changed something... Oh, it was a radio communication. So I am going to shoot their water collector and see if I can disable it.
Go for it.
Actually, how many seconds do we have left?
Probably 10.
All right, never mind. So I'm going to shoot it with my Sentient Cloud skill. Dice Stream has to clear those. Damn it. That's a +1, but I am going to invoke my... could I use my smartest cloud in the room aspect?
You are the smartest cloud in this room.
All right, so I'm going to use that to bump that up to +3.
I need to put another cloud enemy in. So it's Are you the smartest cloud in the room? Prove it.
Damn it. My one weakness.
Challenge you to a game of cloud chess.
It's an uplifted nebula. Yeah.
Cloud chess is just called thunderstorms here on Earth.
Yeah. I thought thunderstorms were like the predators of your planet.
No, those are hunter storms.
Oh, hunter storms.
If they made thunder noises, everyone would know they were coming. Hunter storms are deadly silent.
Silent lightning. Jesus.
Yep.
I'm not sure that could happen. Anyway. So what did you get on your attack, I guess? Your sabotage?
+3.
+3. Okay. Do you have any stealth?
I do. That same skill has stealth.
So the same skill you used to attack? Alright, cool. So they are not going to notice that at first. They're distracted by Amriel and the fucking crazy jump. And then they're like, oh god! And then they're trying to get a hold of the vehicle. They're watching the countdown. And then the little countdown clock goes blank. And then it shows you an arrow. And your arrow is pointing directly behind you. You need to head straight south. Are you going to...
wicked handbrake turn. Obviously.
Are you gonna charge straight through the camp, or are you gonna try and circumvent the camp?
Now let's go through.
All right.
Let's make this good.
So you see all the other teams peel off in random directions. and you guys are heading straight south. It looks like the True Survivors and the Valkyries were given the same heading because they're pretty much side by side, and that's not going to go well for either of them.
With my +3, was it possible to make that sabotage not immediately obvious?
I already said they won't.
Yeah.
They won't realize
right.
it until they try to use it. Like they didn't see you do anything to their vehicle.
Good.
So you guys are going to rip through town.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it's all laid out like a grid, so like there won't be too many handbrake turns. But it's more there's crowds of people. So you do that handbrake turn and start to charge forward, and then you guys hear over the announcer outside say, "It looks like the Ethereals have been giving a heading that will lead them straight through the camp. So how about we clear those streets, everyone?" And then you see people swarm away from the barriers as you're about to punch straight through. Like you just managed to skirt your own trailer where all your supplies and stuff are, and then you smash through a renter fence. And crowds of people just part.
Yep.
Amriel is gonna, since she's still out of the car and in the air, she's gonna fly past the car and like run D for us. You know, push people out of the way and make sure.
So make me some kind of Yuri, make me a drive check, and Emriel, make me some kind of get people out of the way roll. That could be some kind of social roll, or it could be, you know.
Well, my demon warrior has menace on it.
Yeah, do that.
I'll just scare the hell out of everyone.
I get a 7 on drive, so I just expertly weave between everything.
Please.
Does Yuri get a menacing bonus for the car barreling through things?
Yeah, people can hear the Datsun 10,000. It's very
You
loud.
can hear it, yeah. And also, yeah, I'm gonna essentially avoid like charging through too many things.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, like, weave traffic.
Yuri put cannons on the Datsun.
I got a +2.
Fuck cup holders.
Fuck cup holders. A 2? Alright, so you're like, what do you do to scare people out of the way?
Probably just swoop low, maybe some roaring and some shouting.
Are you saying anything comprehensible when you're shouting?
Something about getting out of the way unless you want to get turned to meat paste and...
Can't you see this is a racetrack?
Right. We're standing in the road. You weren't before, but it's road now.
Yeah, as you start to clear through the crowd, Yuri, you see a tuk-tuk coming down the road, beeping its horn, and you see this gentleman leaning out, like trying to wave you out of his way. He's leaning out of the tuk-tuk. He seems to think he has right of way.
Yeah.
He's mistaken.
I'll give it to him.
You're not going to show him how he's wrong?
No. I'll mount the curb.
There's no curb.
No curb?
These are dirt roads. It's not even a town. It's essentially a glorified petrol station is where you are.
Yeah. Is there so there's not enough space to pass him at all?
Oh, there's enough space to pass you. My point is there's no curb. There's no mounting the curb.
Oh, yes, okay. Essentially, yeah, I'll swerve to the side to pass him, but like by inches.
Yeah, he pulls his arm inside and he swears at you in some other language. You don't quite catch it.
Mongolian?
It could be Chinese because like a lot of the
Southern
like,
Mongolian.
Yeah.
No. It's got nothing to do with the ethnicity of the people that live in Mongolia. It's got to do with the ethnicity of the people that are here selling stuff.
I gotcha.
So, like, it's a lot of, like for example, if Coca-Cola had come here, they wouldn't have, like, Coca-Cola doesn't have, like, a bottling plant in, what is the capital of Mongolia?
I don't even know.
Yeah, they don't have a bottling plant there, so they probably came up from somewhere in China.
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah, I probably pass it. I feel like it's maybe I pass him by inches, and then like the wind off of the Datsun is enough to probably topple his tuk-tuk.
yeah,
Just, and then his tuk-tuk just
it goes up on one wheel.
Yeah.
Stuff falls off the back. It's totally the same.
Just as he rights himself, Amriel comes swooping by and knocks him back again.
Just as he pulls himself out of his toppled tuk-tuk, Amriel swoops by, howling. He's just like ducks down, holding onto his hat. All right, you clear the town. It looks like there is actually a cheapo dirt road in the direction that roughly in the direction you need to head. Or you could try and cut a straight line. Like, it is 200 miles straight line wise.
Yeah, I'd say we go off-road.
All right,
Just go
well,
straight for it. What am I looking for?
Then I have an obstacle for you.
Wonderful.
Woo!
As you go off-road and your 10 minutes expire, so you cut towards doing a straight line, you run into... These look like mountains from the satellite photography. Unfortunately, Finn hasn't played enough of the crew, or else I could describe them to him through our crew playing, because there is an area that looks a lot like this. Yeah, they look like, the base of them kind of look like sand dunes, but then the top is more solid like rock.
Oh, yeah.
So they're large hills, and they have smooth sandy bottoms, and then they start to look a bit more like mountains towards the top.
Mhm.
They're not as tall as mountains. I would describe these as hills from looking at the satellite. Yeah, so that's gonna be... What's gonna be your strategy for getting through these?
No, yeah, I see. Yeah, I guess we're gonna try and pick a path through. I guess. Nah. Yeah. Do you want to go endlessly entertaining, or probably for the safer aspect? No, safer aspect's boring though, isn't it? So
Yeah, let's go with entertaining.
yeah. I think we'll just hill climb it, kind of thing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. As in
This
hill
crew-
climb the race type from the crew?
This
Sure.
crew made its bones escaping from an exploding volcano. I don't think safe is in our vocabulary.
I mean, if we want to take a minute, I could give the car wings.
We got
I mean,
no
it would
time.
take more than a minute.
I don't think... one, I think that'd take more than a minute. And two, I don't think wings would actually be that helpful.
Well, and an engine. I could turn it into a plane.
I feel like that'll take age. We're just climbing it. We're just gonna drive up and
Go
then
for
just
it.
like climb over all these rocks.
Yeah, so...
Tell you what, I will follow along behind, and if it looks like you're in trouble, Amriel can always give you a hand.
I think
Why
it would
don't
be
you-
more helpful to have you in lead talking.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Okay.
You
all
go
right.
up ahead, that way if there's like some big, thing coming up, you
I
can give
will
us
be
a
able
heads
You
up.
guys established that you have walkies.
Yeah, we
Yes,
did.
we do now.
Okay, cool.
So, you grab the walkie off the dash and jump out the window again.
Mine is in me.
Yes, indeed. You can now transmit and whatnot, which is cool. With Emriel up ahead giving you a bonus, make me a drive check and we'll determine how many hours it takes you to get across this ridge. I say ridge, this field of mountains. Of hills, sorry.
Is that bonus a +1?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Then 6 tries.
Nice. I'm going to say, with your tenacity and your weird touch coma wheels, You probably get through that in 3 hours. I reckon that's how long it would take you to get through all of that.
Yep.
That sounds fair.
That sounds real generous. Every time I zoom in, I'm like, oh, I don't know. That looks like a son of a bitch.
It does. We're very good.
There's some of this where it look like there's this part that is like looks like something out of Avatar. Like it's this solid, sharp spine of rock rising up out of these black sand dunes. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, as long as you stay away from that, you should be fine, though. You guys are definitely heading in the right direction for this to work in your favor.
Well, it does look like there's a road through there.
There is a road through there.
That could
You
help.
chose not to take that road. I asked you if you wanted to.
That is
And
true.
they didn't.
That is true.
We sure didn't take that.
So, there's a few parts where you have to go slow because, like, there's large
Yeah.
rocks. But you still manage to pick a pretty good path thanks to Amriel. And you get to the other side. And now it would
this
be...
time,
Yeah?
Greg, I was wondering if Greg, if while we were doing this, you maybe could, like, I don't know, do some research on, like, maybe where the others are heading or that kind of thing. You could try and, like,
Could
figure
I
out.
do that? I have Wi-Fi in me now.
So you're not allowed to watch video streams, but you could check Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Because people might be like hashtag Valkyrs. Check hashtag Valkyrs, and all the fans will be describing what they're doing.
All right, I will check Twitter.
All right. So which team do you want to look at the most?
So there's what was it? The True Survivors were the ones who were going to be heading this way, so I'll check them first.
Yes, they want to head this way, and their bearing out of camp was the same as the Valkyrs. So if like the Valkyrs thought that the True Survivors had the right idea, they might be following them. You might actually get 2 for the price of 1 there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for the True Survivors first.
All right, cool. I'm gonna need. I have a florin here somewhere. I can flip for this. All right, so you make me your research roll, and I'll decide now whether they're following you or not.
Okie dokie. Yes, I do. All right. Ah, crap. All my dice were stacked up. There we go.
You ended up with a 8 dice roll instead of...
Yes. Yeah. I re-rolled and got a 0 on that, so that puts me at +3.
Nice. Heads or tails?
Heads.
Ooh, tails. The Valkyrs have fucked it again because they seem to be real confident in their own navigation.
Oh, all right. So that was to see if I got both of them or just the one.
Yeah, indeed. That was to see if the Valkyrs had decided to follow the True Survivors, and they were like, nah, True Survivors don't know shit.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
It looks like the True Survivors went, seeing as they were headed northwest, they decided to jump on a road near there, and they went along it until they got to where those hills that you went over thinned out, and then they crossed them and came down through this part that kind of looks like the whole area's washed out on the map. Like a huge thing of water has like streaked the desert. So that's the part they're coming down.
Yeah.
All right, so
they're
they're heading this way.
Yeah, you get
In a
you
general
can
sense.
you can tell from looking at the photos on Twitter that they're coming down through there.
Okay. Can I do another search for one of the other teams?
Sure. So you can make me that research roll. You guys hit the flat open desert. Are you going to keep pushing on? It's about halfway through the afternoon.
I don't see why we should stop.
Yeah, we're doing well so far.
Yeah. What's our
so-
bearing? Just keep going this way?
For now, so are we
southwest? It will
are
put
we
you
in that
towards
Texas-y area, or are we still heading towards it?
No, you're still heading
Okay.
towards it. I'll tell you when you get there.
Yeah. So in that case, yeah, just keep.
If you drove through the night, you would get halfway there.
Well,
There
I mean,
is
Amriel's the only one that's asleep.
There is another bunch of hills, and these are much wider on the way.
Gotcha.
It might even be worth scouting those hills with the drone and Amriel later on, because there are some pretty clear, easy paths through from the satellite photography. So, like, if you can choose the best one by doing a scout of it, then you can cut your time down to go through there.
Right.
Cool.
Okay. So I got another +3 searching for TKS this time.
Yep, so TKS have chosen to... they had to head north, annoyingly. So they just drove north for 10 minutes as slow as they could. Like, they were just doing, like, 40. And then they turned around and headed straight back on the road, straight down. So they took the road that you guys said nah to that.
Right.
And so they are probably an hour ahead of you, is the impression you get. Yeah, because they're just following road, and they're good on road. But like an hour lead in this kind of race probably isn't that much.
Okay.
Especially considering that road does not go to where they need to be.
Right.
Like they're gonna have to
okay,
get
so
off
I will relay that information that TKS right now is a little bit ahead of us, and True Survivors are on their way.
True Survivors are probably about an hour behind you. So
Yeah.
You're coming second, and Valkyries are coming last, which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah. So so TKS is, or we're hot on their heels, and True Survivors are hot on ours.
And we know what. So, what are we looking for in terms of this base?
So you don't really have any idea what it looks like, but you've been told that there is, like, people have seen sort of ghostly cities appear in the desert near here over the eons. Like, this has been a thing that has existed for centuries, this myth.
Yep.
So, look for mirages of cities could be helpful. But other than that, it's you'll know it when you see it kind of a situation. You have no idea whether this base is above ground, underground, whether it's invisible.
Right.
Yeah.
So I built a drone. It's essentially just a standard drone, but it has an electromagnetic sensor on it. So if there's any like electricity, that will get detected. So that might help us be able to find it.
Because there's not a lot out here, so like anything that sets it off could be a good place.
There's us, and that's basically it.
Yep.
Yeah. Didn't we also say he does a lot of stuff with other dimensions, like parallel realities?
Yeah,
he's
from a parallel
reality. So maybe we could look for, I guess, areas where the barrier between worlds is thin.
You could. I'd be interested to see how you plan to look for that.
Yes, as would I.
Probably Arcana for me.
That could work. You're not even near the area where you're going to search yet, so but still worth formulating a strategy.
Yeah. I suppose since Greg is now Wi-Fi enabled, could I, because like you said, we've got hours of driving, could I research through any like online archives to see if there's any kind of correlation to those sightings of the city? Like, is there, every 15 years it starts coming up, or like a more specific area?
You've already tried to do that last
Okay, I didn't quite remember. All right.
That's all right, but I'll let you make another attempt. This is going to be difficult. I have set a difficulty. I'm going to write it down on a piece of paper, even though that doesn't help you.
I will fly to Australia to look at that piece of paper if I don't know.
If anyone doesn't believe me.
Well, I got a +2. Is
Right.
this the same scene from earlier still?
It's the same scene as the one where you were on Twitter, but other than that.
But not from the first drive where I shot there.
Yeah, not from the first drive. This
Okay.
is
In that case, I will invoke my smartest cloud in the room aspects to bring me up to +4.
all right. You beat the difficulty
It's
by
a signature
1.
aspect, so I don't have to pay.
Oh, nice.
Point for it.
Yeah, you beat
So you know why I keep
you beat the difficulty by 1.
Huzzah!
Thankfully, you find a Chinese conspiracy blog.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay.
As in it's run by someone from China.
Yeah, no, I got you.
And it's not just full of conspiracies about China. And they're talking about he's talking about a secret government plan because exploring space is too costly. And there's all these aliens up there that might destroy our brave unanauts. So he talks about how the Chinese government had a plan to start exploring other worlds in a similar means to the Tunguska breach, which is in Russia, which is like an interdimensional hole.
Okay.
Through reality, and that's where a lot of the other dimensional refugees and stuff come through. So he reckons that the government, that Beijing, as it is often called in Chinese writing, tried to open up their own hole in reality out in the desert. Near where they launch all their space satellites and things like that. So perhaps
Russians got themselves a reality hole. God damn it!
We can't fall behind. We can't play second fiddle to Russian communism.
And it's not just going to be a cheap Chinese knockoff this time either.
It's going to be the real deal. So perhaps looking for government stuff might be useful.
All right, I will relay that. Let's look for some government stuff.
All right.
So seeing government buildings could be useful. It's getting late in the afternoon. Emriel's gulping down water.
Greg says, I would suggest, not that I am questioning your driving abilities, Yuri, but perhaps it would be best to not tackle these mountains in the dead of night.
It's fair, yes. I mean, entertaining, but yeah, reasonable.
Right. I'm more worried for Amriel's bodily safety.
I'm touched for it, man. I'm touched.
So, do you guys set up camp?
Yeah.
You've reached the edge of these hills. You get past like a couple of them, and there's sort of this nice sort of sheltered area that you spot. It's got this nice flat bit in the middle of it. You pick out and stop there. Or you could camp at the top of a hill. I mean, what else?
I feel like maybe, I was thinking maybe the top, so we can have like a lookout over the desert.
Yeah.
Sure.
If we camp at the top of a hill,
anything interesting to see? Yeah.
We should not use any lights or anything.
Yeah.
Sure. You put all the red filters on your lights.
Yeah.
Can Greg shift into red?
Yeah.
Your lightning is now you look like a ball of anger.
He just condenses a bit.
I assume Greg's not terribly bright anyway.
No, he's not.
It's like a candle.
Maybe we might be able to see some sort of spectral things or anything if there's that sort of thing over through the night.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that Amriel maybe fly up and scout from higher overhead, and she could see if there's any spectral stuff, even though we're still a bit of ways out. but also
Embryo might want to sleep.
I don't mean forever. I mean just a quick look.
Well,
So-
actually, maybe what if I take the drone? Well, why don't we just take the drone?
I mean, we could. I figured Amriel might have a better perception.
True.
Well,
Sure.
there's this little
The
thing.
drone just uses the perception of whoever's flying it. Just
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
FYI. It doesn't
My-
add anything to your perception.
My alertness is at +1, so I'm not great at perceiving.
Mine is at +2. All right.
That's mine.
All right. So then we'll just use the drone then. Never mind.
Okay.
So I'm gonna fly the drone up basically like as high as I can, and the first thing I'm looking for is lights that could be the other teams, like if they're setting up camp too.
You do actually spot a vehicle sort of behind you, in the distance, maybe a kilometer. Not a kilometer, it'd be more than that. In the distance.
Right. Any way to tell which team it is?
Not from this far out.
Okay.
I mean, the
Is it
fact that
moving?
it is currently moving. It's moving pretty slowly, but it is moving. The fact that it is behind you suggests that it's to the
Right.
Probably is it
Northwest.
TKS? Probably, isn't it?
it's to the northwest, so it's probably True Survivors.
At the rate they're going, would they pass us during the night? Like if they kept going all night?
Probably, but like they've got this hill field that you're passing through is wider and larger, wider and longer than the last one. So
Okay.
they have to pass through it. They're not going to be able to skirt it like the last one by adding an extra hour.
No. I'm just wondering, like, if we sleep during the night, are we going to wake up and they're going to be ahead of us, or are they still going to be behind us?
They are human beings, so they're probably going to need to stop. Like,
Well, I
none
mean,
of
they
them-
could like drive in shifts or something. There's more of them than there are of
They,
us.
well, there's six people on the True Survivor team, I think. And they've got 2 people in the car, and then they've got 4 dirt bikes at the moment. So, like, they're all driving.
Okay, so
1,
they're gonna have to
2,
stop.
3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's 6 of them.
Yeah. Okay. Never mind then. You're going to have to stop at some point.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I will see if there's anything else, any weird stuff that might give us a better bearing.
You don't spot anything really in the night. You do see some beautiful stars. Do you land the drone?
Yeah. Once I'll scout for like a half hour or so, and then once I'm done, I'll land it and plug it into charge.
Yeah, you don't spot much.
Okay.
And then you land it down and charge it.
Amriel,
Two survivors are going to catch up a bit during the night, but they're going to have to pause at some point for rest.
You could try and get get True Survivors on the radio.
I
There's
don't know what we say.
nothing that says you can't talk to them.
we do have kind of an alliance thing going.
Yeah,
Maybe.
but what would we say to them?
Also, for example, you guys could set up camp closer to one another to protect yourself from things that might be out here in the night. Or, you could just ask them how they're going. Ask them if they're planning on driving through the night or not.
Mm,
You could try and throw them off. You could try and lure them into an ambush. Yeah.
no, they're not TKS.
I don't know. Yeah, it might be good to check in with them, make sure they're all good.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
going to stop you. I don't know what we would
Yeah.
gain from it.
The
but-
main things I can think of are mostly role-playing opportunities. I can't think
Gotcha.
of
Yeah.
anything where it's like, oh, we're going to fuck them over. Because, yeah.
While we set up camp, I'll try and I don't know, get them on the radio. I guess I should try and scan through. Don't know what
Yep.
channel they're on.
There's standard channels for the teams, so you know
Okay.
which one they're going to be on. It's just to make it easier if in an emergency if you need to contact another team.
Yep.
Or something. So you grab them and are like, so what do you say?
Just hey, true survivors. Just checking in. How you guys all going?
Yuri, is that you? It sounds like it's Vic Graves, the older member of the team.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, Yuri here.
Buddy, you gotta say your team name when you're trying to call in. I didn't know who the hell it was.
Sorry. Yeah, Ethereals.
Yeah, right. Well, this is Vic, True Survivors, calling back to Ethereals. How you guys going out there?
Yeah, good. We're settling in for the evening.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to get into specifics about where we are.
No. I was going to say we should tell them that, well, I'm torn. If we tell them, we could conceivably go all through the night because you're a robot, I'm a cloud, and
Yeah,
Amber can sleep in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
so if we tell them we're going to go all night, it would either push them to go all night, so they would be really tired tomorrow, or they would just say, well, we can't go all night. We're going to set up camp, and then nothing would change.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean,
never mind. Do what you're going to do.
yeah, cool.
Yeah, we've decided that we need to rest. You know, we can't push on. You know, we had to carry a lot of water, so in order to carry a lot of water, we had to. We're all driving. In fact, me and Alex are taking it in shifts in the six-wheeler, and everybody else is out there on their bikes. Going to be a hard push tomorrow. We're probably going to set off late. You know.
Yeah.
So that
You guys see where the Valkyrie's headed?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck those lot are doing. I think they might have decided not to follow us out of spite. But I will say
that'd be them.
I will say this: don't put it beyond them to be playing this tactically. They might be luring us into a false sense of security. Like they lost the first run because they got a shitty bearing straight up. This time the bearing was kind of in our favor. We got the same one as them. They might have decided to play this, lose this one. This might be sacrificial. They might be aiming to roll out on the last four of the season.
Right. All their, I don't know, trying to sneak up on us or something.
Yeah, they might have another strat. That's true. I mean, it could be that they know that there's another base here. And that they've decided to fuck the competition. They'll lose the competition and go find this other base. But, I mean, the chances of there being two bases in the middle of the Gobi Desert, I don't know about that.
Yeah, right. Good. All right. See you at the finish line.
Yeah, hopefully we beat you to the base this time, you know. We got there just after you fucking had secured that damn thing. Blew a hole straight through the top. Fucking, what a waste of Simtex.
Oh, you know, some say waste, some say...
Well, it looked damn good on camera, so I'm sure them Raiderade folks are real popular.
Yeah. Yep, and I sign out.
Cool. After about an hour or so, the radio crackles again.
Uh-huh.
This is True Survivors calling Ethereals. Is Amriel there?
Amriel goes over and picks up. This is Amriel.
Hey, Amriel.
I speak into this.
Yeah, it's Alex.
Oh, hello, Alex.
How you doing? How you doing out there?
Well, it's tough being the only member of your team who feels fatigue, but you know, Lucifer used to keep us going for days on end.
Yeah, I know a thing or two about long marches.
How about you? I heard you were taking it in shifts with old Vic.
Yeah. It's hard. We've decided that we're going to skip lunch tomorrow so that we can just drive straight on through in the middle of the day. But that means getting the calories up tonight.
Yeah.
How you finding the heat?
Oh, nothing I'm not used to. Being from hell.
Hell.
Yeah.
I'm used to the dry heat.
Yeah.
What's your water supply looking like?
We've got a barrel of the stuff. It really just needs to feed me and the radiator, so we didn't need to bring nearly as much.
Yeah, I'd check all your fluids in your vehicle in the morning, just as a tip. You don't, and stuff can happen overnight. Also, the temperature's apparently going to plummet tonight, so make sure that none of your lines freeze and break. Something
That's
to watch out for.
Good tip, thank you.
Probably let your engine warm up in the morning too. You don't want to just gun it straight out of the gate with the massive temperature shifts that we're going to be having.
Thank you for the advice.
I thought you did good at that press event yesterday.
Oh yes. I'm not usually one of those smooth-tongued tempters, but I was always more of a frontline soldier. Bloody instrument, as it were. But I feel a natural affinity to the camera and to the crowd. It's interesting.
Well, I'm sure your tongue is smooth enough. I better head off. And then she signs out.
Smooth. So
I feel like Greg and I both kind of like awkwardly look away from this conversation as you sign off. We're like, oh, I was not listening to that.
So I have an idea. Can Greg, while we're since Greg after Amriel drink, basically I want to make more water while we're camped. I want to replenish our water.
All right. Make me some kind of craft roll.
Yep. Is what I do.
You guys think I should be a dick and take a selfie of myself drinking some water and tweet it at TKS?
No, because that will let them know that we sabotaged it, not just that they fucked up. Better them think that they're incompetent than that they're being targeted.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to think they were targeted probably anyway.
Yeah, well, I got a +3 on my craft.
Yeah, so you managed to replenish some of the water. You don't... Yeah. Not fully. Water's hard. It's hard to make water out of sand.
Yeah.
You gotta.
I know. I can make water out of this water. Wait a minute.
You gotta strip a lot of electrons and protons.
Yeah.
There's some terrifying physics happening inside you.
Yeah.
As always is.
I don't know why you humans get so upset about it. I mean, what do you think happens when you break down food?
Yeah, you don't do that.
You don't have to.
It's a similar process.
You don't have to look at that.
In theory.
It's not even that similar.
Oh, come on. It's like a beautiful electrical storm inside Greg when he's working.
I saw the naked core of a star once before the creation, and that's what that reminds me of.
Oh, fascinating.
So, that's what Greg does through the night. Yuri, what do you do?
I mean, if you prefer, Amriel, I could not make you more water.
No, please. Go ahead.
I stared into death, and this gives me flashbacks every time.
I'm sorry. I did not realize that my process was so unsettling for you, my companions. If you wish, I could go behind the car.
As the crescent moon reaches its zenith, what is Yuri doing in the night?
I'm gonna like set up vigil like on the top of the Datsun and just like watch the desert for any kind of any kind of movement, but also I'm kind of wondering if there's any kind of like spectral images or like ghost lights or anything in the night.
As Greg converts sand into water, and Emriel finds themselves in a deep sleep, Yuri stares out across the desert, and as you're looking out, you swear you see like a plane flying through the air, and it's like coming down low, like you're watching it travel across the desert. It's not like coming towards you. You're seeing it from side on.
Yeah.
You swear you see it land. Like you can just see these lights, and they look like the lights that you'd see on like a commercial airplane. And then as you're watching it come into land, it disappears. And then you hear the radio, your CB start to make static. And Greg, you can actually hear interference in your head.
Ooh, tingly.
And then you see another plane fly super low straight over you. You can't hear it at all, but it's like maybe 100 meters above you. Why is there a passenger plane flying that low?
Does it like displace the air, or is it just like the image of a plane?
No, it looks like there's a plane there, but you don't get blown away or anything. You don't hear anything.
Okay,
It's
that's
just
terrifying.
a fucking plane flies over. You just hear the static in the radio and the static in the interference in your head, and then it like almost hits a sand dune and then disappears.
Yeesh.
Wow. Is that normal for your planet, Yuri?
No.
I did not think so.
Our planes tend to be as physical as we are.
They also tend to be loud.
That makes sense.
Remember when we did that ad at that airport? It's all those loud noises. That's
Remember when there was planes?
There are
Yeah.
many strange creatures on this planet, and perhaps one of them has a weird plane thing.
I thought cars were the dominant species. I was trying to make first contact.
Also, as Greg, so when Amriel wakes up in the morning, Greg has made her a hat.
All right.
It's a wide, floppy-brimmed hat.
Like an oversized sun hat.
Yes.
She puts it on and looks incredibly grouchy about it.
It's made of high-tech rayon.
It is. It is also fuchsia. No, it's sand-colored.
Yeah. To blend in.
Camouflage.
Do you guys get up early? Do you guys wake up Emriel early, or are you confident enough in your position that you just let Emriel sleep until Emriel wakes up?
I would
kinda
say
fine
first
letting-
lights.
Yeah. Okay.
We've got the TKS is already ahead of us, and true survivors are right on our tail, and God knows where the Valkyries are. I would say as soon as it's light enough for us to drive, we actually probably wake Amriel up a little bit before dawn and start breaking down camp, so that way when the sun comes up,
Yeah,
can
and
go.
start warming the car up and stuff.
Yeah.
Let it
so this is
idle
like-
for a minute or two.
This waking up at like pre-dawn light in the middle of a desert in like freezing temperatures. This is like my jam, essentially. Like this is like home. This is like home to Yuri, essentially.
It reminds you of the life.
Yeah. This is what I once lived for.
Yuri seems really chipper in the morning. Like, yeah, guys, let's get it. Let's get out there.
I agree.
It's like being on the edges of Cocytus. Amriel like cracks a bunch of frost off of her body.
We tell Amriel about the mysterious planes.
Yes.
Oh. You think that
Greg.
could be
What? Yes.
So could you maybe see if there was any kind of like history of any like planes going missing in this area or anything?
I will certainly check. So once we
Or downed
start
planes?
driving,
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll include this in the as part of the navigating the hills.
all right. So yeah, I'm
Um,
going. I guess I'll research any missing crafts or any crashes or anything.
What were you going to ask him, Emerald?
I was going to say, do you think that that's part of this weird dimensional disturbance that we speculate might be in the area?
I figure so. Is there maybe there's an airport on the other side of the dimension?
Possible.
I got
that would
a
be-
+3 on my research
nice.
for any crashes or missing planes, anything like that.
No,
Yeah, so we're, like, underway
no
during the day.
more than you'd expect. There's not an unusual amount of plane crashes, but
Right.
there would be plane crashes.
Right.
But there hasn't been any like planes like gone missing conspicuously in this area, that kind of thing.
Right. But what about the
no.
opposite? What
Like
about
the
unexpected planes?
Unexpected planes?
Yeah, like planes that showed up from another time or somewhere else.
All right. Like
Late by 3 years.
Yeah.
heads
Or
or tails?
early by 3 years. I'll do heads again.
Heads. All right.
Yeah.
A few. You find a report. It's on another conspiracy blog. This isn't a Chinese one specifically. It's just
Okay.
a conspiracy blog that talks about how 3 planes almost ran into each other over the Gobi Desert, but they only have an account from one of the planes. The pilot and co-pilot reported seeing 2 other planes almost run into theirs a few minutes apart. One of them looked like a Concorde, like supersonic jet.
Mhm.
Yep.
And the other one looked, it looked pretty similar to a modern plane, except that the engines were mounted to the top of the wings.
Is that what we saw last night? The top wings, or did we not notice?
They look like normal aircraft to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah, we kind of drive through the morning, I guess.
Yeah, so you guys
We
clear
saw-
those.
We saw 2 planes last night, right?
Yeah,
Or you
you
already
saw,
saw the lights for
We
one.
You
saw
saw
one come down to
you saw one in the
disappear.
distance and then one almost land on top of you.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. Sorry.
So you drive down through the hills, and you know that by noon you'll hit the big, huge Texas sand patch. So now the really hard part of the trip begins. Where the fuck are you gonna start searching?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to throw my drone up in the air and see. Basically, just have it follow us at a high, like a few hundred feet up. Just follow and see if it picks up anything other electromagnetic other than us.
It does pick up some light electrical signals, and you also see a dust trail in the distance behind near you. It's not so much behind you, but it is to the right of your car. Could be true survivors. And then you get a signal over the radio. This is TKS Super Race Team calling for the Ethereals.
I'll answer. Yes, Ethereals responding to the TKS.
Yeah, so which one of you decided to fucking mess with our water supply? We could have died, you assholes!
I look. I don't keep a hand on the button. I kind of like look at the other 2.
Deny.
Yeah, I'm good at lying. What do you
Wait,
mean?
did you say you are or not good at lying?
I'm not. But
I'm pretty damn good at lying, demon.
Yeah.
Amriel raises her hand.
you could just
Let
take the radio.
Amriel take it.
I mean, I am currently the car, so I'm just talking through the radio.
Yeah.
Stretch the radio. You grab the radio thing.
Uh,
Talk back to them.
we have no idea what you're talking about, TKS. I did that kind of like dive and swoop move in front of you, and that was about it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, sure. Look, we might not have any proof now, but you guys have been messing with us since the moment you got on the scene. So, just letting you know, we're onto you, and the gloves are off. TKS out. And they hang up.
Was that like an open channel that others could have heard?
It was on
Like
the...
just at
They
us.
would have contacted you on the Ethereals channel.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
But someone could have been listening, essentially.
Yeah.
But it's not like the true survivors would have just overheard it on the radio.
The true survivors would have had to have tuned to that channel.
channel.
Okay. Gotcha.
They're all right next to one another. The channels, like they're separated by a few wave bands.
I get that. Okay, I got you now.
The
The only team that really would have the capacity to monitor all of them at once would be the Valkyries, because no one else has like enough space to have that many fucking CBs.
Could I monitor multiple stations at once?
It'd be like trying to listen to. If they were all talking at once, it would be like trying to listen to multiple conversations.
Right. but if
Otherwise, you'd be fine. Like, people don't normally chat over them. Like, this is the first time you guys have used it.
you know,
true.
like listening to one of our podcasts when Chris and Meyer decide to ignore what's going on.
But yeah, they wouldn't really be talking to each other on that. That's for communicating between teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. So, like, probably mostly empty. But yeah, you could definitely start doing that now.
But it's not like
That's the thing.
true survivors going to be talking to themselves and saying, "All right, we're going to go over here now and investigate this."
Actually, the true survivors probably more than anyone else would be because of the fact that they've got the outriders.
True, yeah.
So they'd have helmet mics and stuff.
But they wouldn't have their own other radio signal for that. They'd have to use.
They'd probably just use the team signal because the Raiderade people want to be able to monitor all your conversations so that they can use it in the show, which is why they give you those designated channels.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, now Amriel takes a selfie of herself chugging from a canteen and tweets it at TKS.
Yeah. At TKS Super Race Team. TKS Super Race Team has the verified tick. The Ethereals, not yet.
It's okay. We'll get there.
What was I going to say? God damn it. Something. Yeah. The thing about if you wanted to monitor the other radios is that's a thing you have to actively do. It can't be like just passively. It would be sort of like how you say, I'm going to make a research check. You'd have to say, I'm going to listen to the radios for this portion of the trip. And that way, yeah. It's not going to be, I'm just going to tell you everything. You have to
I was just wondering if it was possible.
Yeah, it's totally possible. I see no reason why you couldn't. So you guys reach the edge of the big, huge Texas sand patch, which is like a couple of 100 square kilometers.
Yep.
Yeah, where are we going?
That is the question.
Do we have a rough idea where that plane in the distance went down? Or are we past that?
Do you have any kind of navigation skills?
Nah. I mean, I have my background, but like, otherwise I don't have any research.
I
Or
don't
anything.
even know if there would be a skill that would represent that. There might be a navigate skill, I think.
Like if you had, like some kind of relevant skill with an information trapping.
Yeah, or something like that, or that's right. The normal skills are at the bottom.
Yeah, I have drive with information.
Yeah, so there
otherwise,
isn't actually. I thought there might have been a navigation skill in the list of base skills. There isn't, which makes sense. So I would let. If anyone has pilot, I would let you use pilot
No.
I do
to
not.
work out where they landed. I would also allow investigation.
Greg.
No. Let's see. My alien.
I've got that. I will try that.
No.
Yeah.
All right. I got a +3 on investigation.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So you remember back to yesterday? Well, not yesterday, but the day before, when you were talking with when you looked at the True Survivors maps, and they were going to focus on the northern-ish part of the Texas patch. So pretty much where Alex has actually put that marker. And the plane looked like the first plane landed near there based on what Yuri tells you.
Yeah.
So you guys you have more, you narrow that area down to something even smaller. So now you've got like a 50 square kilometer area to search, which is a lot easier to do.
Okay.
All right,
I guess we'll start there.
Fantastic.
All right, it's you and the True Survivors are the only teams that are in this. And you can see their dust plume. They seem to be heading roughly in the same direction as you. You may need to take action against them. And if you wanted to maintain good relationships with them, you could, get on the radio and be like, "Hey guys, we're getting to that point in the competition where we have to compete against one another." So
Yeah.
We'll start by trying to search in the sort of opposite end of the north, I guess.
yeah, all right.
We'll sort of try and start in the other way.
How are you guys searching this desert? You've got your EM drone for one.
Yeah. I guess we can get the EM drone for any EM signal, and maybe Amriel could head up for actual eyes of the sky.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, and then I guess we'll sort of try and drive down through the gullies and stuff between the dunes if we see see any kind of ground markings or anything.
Yep, cool. So, Amriel and Greg, make me awareness check.
Okie doke.
Okay.
Awareness is... You mean alertness?
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
God damn it.
+2. I keep rolling zeros on my dice. +2. It's either all the pluses and minuses cancel out, or right now I just rolled 4 blanks.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. I rolled plus minus minus, so that puts me at +1. I'm going to invoke my fallen legionary because I was out on patrol a lot on recon.
You know how to search a desert
Yeah.
for signs of life. That's pretty much what the first few pages of the Bible's all about.
Yeah.
The Torah's got whole chapters devoted to searching deserts for things.
Moses thought he was so great because he wandered the desert for 40 years. At least he didn't have to do it while on fire.
Yeah, he should have adopted a proper search pattern for the Holy Land.
Right.
Exactly.
Should have gone for an asymmetrical grid search. So, what'd you get, sorry, Amriel?
That brings me up to +3.
Okay. As you're searching around, Amriel, you see in the distance, far off in the distance, sort of right between a bunch of dunes, there's this perfect sort of L shape. And there's a bunch of planes there. It looks like a freaking airport. And then, Greg, you get an EM signal
Ooh.
that says that it's weird. You're surrounded by EM, almost like you're in a city. And then Yuri, make me an alertness check.
Oh. Well.
2 Monday.
You are sort of, looking out the side. Oh no, you're possessing the car, aren't you?
Yeah.
A wall appears in front of you, and then you realize it's a fucking building, and you're on a street. A busy ass street with cars all around you, and you're traveling at highway speed, and there is a tight corner straight ahead.
Cool. I think I just dead stop, just brakes.
Brakes, good choice.
Yeah.
You slam on the brakes. You hear some people
Hopefully not.
honking behind you and screaming in what sounds like an Asian language.
Oh, what are they speaking?
Is it a known language?
How does your super language power work? Is it that you've like?
Let me double check.
Is it a Transformers? You studied the internet situation?
I don't know exactly. I have to check the Base Raiders book. Sorry.
Which power is it associated with?
I don't. It's languages. It's
Right.
You have just the languages skill.
Well, it's a trapping.
Okay.
Yeah, what's the trapping in?
Yeah, if
I
it's
guess that
trapping,
probably
what
defines it.
strange skill is it attached to?
My alien super scientist skill. Languages plus at ascendant tier. So the character knows all languages used on Earth, mortal or otherwise, living or dead, plus a number of exotic languages equal to the skill rating. In addition, the character may spend a fate point to add any language which she could have reasonably encountered to her list of known languages.
So, how did Greg learn the languages of Earth?
Yeah, as he was flying in, he was listening to television and radio signals and telephone calls from all over the planets and just downloaded them all.
Okay, in that case, you do not know this language. It sounds like a variation of Cantonese, actually, which is weird. You'd expect Mandarin.
Right.
It sounds like a variation of Cantonese, but it sounds like it branched off from Cantonese long ago. And as these horns are beeping behind you and Amriel's looking out at this airport, Amriel, you see around the airport the sand dunes recede, and now there's a city. You see like a monorail, and then in an instant, all of that's gone. You're now at the bottom of a sand dune. Amriel's flying overhead. There's an empty desert.
Are we just back in desert again?
Yeah, you're all back in the desert.
Oh.
Like the building disappeared. You can't hear the people screaming.
I think we found our window into another world.
Yeah.
I guess so.
There's no electrical signals except for your own vehicle.
Can we try and did anything trigger that? Do we? I guess. Okay. We have a city.
Yeah, so there's no. Wait, you said there's no electromagnetic signature?
Except for your own vehicle. It all disappeared.
Oh, okay.
I was more of a stabby angel than a, smart physics-making angel.
Can I make a smart physics-y roll?
Sure. Amriel flunked out of universe creation.
Right.
Hey! That is a +5.
Your angelic career advisor was like, Have you considered a career in God's army?
Why does God need an army? That's a good question.
Well, because we don't want a bunch of unemployed angels,
Exactly.
Oh,
God's
God.
a capitalist.
The fallen angels were all the losers who couldn't do anything else.
Parasites.
Parasites. Let's get all Randian in here. Sorry, how'd you do, Greg?
+5.
And what were you trying to... You're making a super science roll, but like, what are you doing to try and
to see if there was
I know what you're trying to work out, but like, science requires
What are you doing to
experimentation.
work it out?
So what are you doing?
Okay, yes. So so Greg is going to, I'm assuming the car has stopped?
Yeah.
All right, so Greg gets out and spreads himself out over the ground in like a large area and is taking samples of the sand and testing for any radiation or strange residues or anything like that that might point out to what just happened.
And you got a 5?
Yes.
So you find roughly a gram of sand that couldn't possibly be from this universe. To use my knowledge of the TV show Fringe, you find a gram's worth of sand particles that are vibrating at the wrong frequency.
They're all red instead of green?
Yeah, they're all red instead of green. They have no yellow pigments.
No! Okay. Who wants the red arrow at all? It seems that
there's a super small amount, but like there are things getting through from the other universe.
Yes.
It's just like a few atoms worth.
It does seem that there is a small amount of matter transference when those portals open, but I don't know if it would be enough time for us to get the car through, or if we would even want to.
Well, we just passed through.
Unless, of course, the base is located in the other dimension.
Yeah.
Was there any way to tell if there was anything that caused it, like anything we did that caused it, or does it just happen here?
You don't have enough data yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Should we? I don't know where. Okay, Amrael. You saw an airport and a city. Was there any landmarks of that city that seemed interesting that maybe we could search those areas?
Other than the airport, not so much. But considering that we saw planes, it might be a good area to search.
That'd be a bad idea. Yeah.
Yeah. We could
I
start
think we
there.
should head there.
I agree.
I
Yeah,
mean,
so we're gonna
that'd be
head
a
towards-
reasonable place to start, considering you saw planes before, and like the first thing Emriel noticed was the airport. There might be some
Yeah.
kind of connection there.
So we'll head. I'm
We'll
assuming
head towards
Amriel
where
knows where it is.
Yeah, Emriel has a fair enough.
Yeah, you said it was between two dunes, so I guess that's a good enough,
It looked like it was, but then, like, remember I described as the city appeared,
Yeah,
the dunes pulled
everything
back.
receded.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll start there.
All right, so I'll give them a
General
heading
area.
and a vector, and
Follow me.
So you guys pop down, and now you're in the middle of more sand dunes. It looks a lot like the previous sand dunes you were in.
Woo!
So what do you guys do here?
I've got my Arcana, so I can like maybe use that to probe at the magical layers of reality somehow. I don't know. Maybe I know a spell, or I know just enough about what I'm looking for that I can.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, let's see. Nope, wrong button. All right. I'm gonna fate point to reroll that and invoke my Earthbound Demonic Servant. I've seen my sorceress mistress do this before.
All right.
So I'm gonna spend my fate point to reroll because I got a -1.
Nice.
Okay, that's the same exact roll.
Dang.
Actually, no, it's not. I'm at 0 now.
Okay. Well, you're not opposed.
Yeah. Can I succeed at a cost? Is there any
yes,
if there's a consequence that you can think of?
Totally succeed at a cost. So you remember that in cases of interdimensional flux, if there is a gap in reality, water flows to low pressure dimensional gaps. So, if you had a large amount of water, you could pour it out and it would find the hole between realities. That's your succeed at cost.
Ray, you're a bastard.
Empty your barrel of water.
All right. Well, I guess I'll take I'll fill my canteen.
Yeah, you have a bottle of water left.
I'm gonna run this by.
Mind you, you've got a case of Raiderade, so.
Yeah, but we need that. Well, yeah.
Isn't it the Mongolian Raiderade that's also laced with alcohol?
That was not Mongolian. That was part of your That was part of the airplane promotion.
Oh, I thought. Oh, right. Because
that was the
Right.
Slovak edition. It's caffeinated beer.
Well, I will put this to the team. Yuri, I have an idea, but it might mean giving up your radiator water.
Right.
So, as I said, not really a physics angel here, but certain dimensions have a lower pressure than others. So, logically, if we pour out a large amount of water, it will flow toward the low pressure, and we should be able to find the rift that way.
But what if ours is the low pressure dimension and the other one is a higher pressure?
In that case, shut up.
That's that's the risk, I suppose.
I guess that would be the risk. There is a chance that we might just pour out our water and it will form a big stain in the desert.
Well, I can make us more water, but not at an exceedingly fast pace.
No. Well, it's the best we've got to go on. If this doesn't go well,
if you find the base, there might be water there.
That's true. Or Raiderade.
Or if we have to slip into this alternate dimension city, maybe we could get some water there.
Just from a sink.
Go to a petrol station.
Right.
Yeah.
And if this doesn't work, then I guess we could just go steal TKS's moisturizer and then fix it.
TKS is out of the race. It is you and the true survivors.
And Valkyrie may be somewhere.
That water thing got them out of the race?
Yeah, they weren't going to risk dying.
Yeah, good for them.
Because they would have set up it, and they would have had water to drink during the day, then they would have set up at night, and they would have set up their water thing, and then by morning, it should have collected enough water to refill their tanks. And it hadn't.
Well, it's almost like they didn't plan well enough.
Well, they thought they planned real well.
Well, they thought wrong.
They were wrong.
They didn't plan
So
on
are you guys going to empty the water barrel out on the sand?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess. Unless is there enough Raiderade to do the search, or do we need?
There's
not
enough Raiderade at all. There's like 12 cans of Raiderade.
Yeah, it's inconsequential amount.
All right.
I mean, that's a lot of energy drink. There's not a lot of fluid.
Yeah. All right. So in that case,
it's a lot of electrolytes.
There's more water in that. There's more water in those water barrels than there would in the water barrel, rather than there would ever be in the radiator too. Radiators don't have that much liquid.
Yeah.
So why don't we we'll fill up the canteen, we'll top off the radiator, and then we'll dump the rest.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
You dump out the water, and nothing happens for a moment. And then you start to see this damp patch of sand become, it starts to move and then starts to dry up about So it looks like it is shifting about 2 meters away from your car, and then it starts to get smaller and smaller and smaller, and then there's no wet patch. It couldn't have evaporated that quickly, and it wouldn't have moved like that. It should have just soaked into the sand and been gone if there was nothing. But it still would have looked damp for a while.
Okay.
Yes! Yes! In your face, Angel Guidance Counselor! In your face!
Yes. Well done, Amriel.
You found something.
I'm guessing you
Start
need to-
digging?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Pull out your E-tool.
Can I hover my drone overhead and see if it picks up anything in this area?
Sure. You pick up a faint electrical signal, not including yourself and Yuri.
Right. I can't tell like if it's below ground or anything. I just know it's there.
No, you just know that there's EM interference nearby.
Can I scout it around to see if there's any sort of opening or
Yeah, make
door?
me a roll. There is
Alertness?
an alertness. Actually, it's probably an investigate is what you're trying to do.
Oh, that's information?
Maybe. Investigate is a skill.
If that's the case, I do not have it.
In that case, you're rolling at +0.
Indeed.
Yep. Just double checking my stuff. Dodge, resolve, empathy. Oh, okay. +2, and I'm going to invoke my smartest cloud in the room to bring me up to a +4.
Oh man, you are lucky.
Whew.
Difficulty 4.
Oh,
You're flying around and you don't see anything. You're like, oh, I guess we're gonna have to dig. And then just as they start to they take that first shovel, you see a tiny speck of something, and it's like a pole. It's the very tip of like a metal pole that's just below the sand, and you spot it. You're like, hang on, there's a thing. It's about 100 meters from your car.
I think we should leave the car and walk over to it.
Yep.
All right.
I mean, it's also not that far.
You dig the pole thing away, and you realize that it's a flagpole. Because like a marker that you'd put to mark a location, and there's like a little red flag attached to it, about the size of a handkerchief. And then you dig it away more, and it looks like it goes down. Like this pole's probably between 2 and 5 meters long. It's a matter of, are you committed to digging down deeper here?
Is the pole hollow or solid?
It is a hollow pole. You could probably pull it out, but like if you pull it out, if it's meant to mark a location.
No, what I'm thinking is if it's hollow, Greg can just like pour himself down and then make a little, see if there's anything, make a little hole at the bottom and see if there's anything there.
Go for that. Yeah, you go for that. That's fine. So you pour yourself down you take the end, you get one of the other team to take the end cap off, and then you pour yourself down the pole, and there's like metal at the bottom, but it's not a cap on the pole. There's a gap, and there's a little bit of sand coming in underneath. It looks like it's like it's like a metal wall almost, or something. So there's definitely some kind of structure here.
Okay. Can I like make a little hole in the pole to seep myself out of, and see, like, is this whole thing buried in sand, or is there like some kind of
the whole there is a gap between, like, there's a tiny millimeter gap, or even less than that. The pole is sitting on this thing, but it's not attached to the thing. So it's the sand that is keeping it here. So there's a little bit of sand coming in underneath the pole. But
So
so
basically, it's like on the roof of this thing, and the pole is completely buried in sand.
Yeah. So the pole was stuck down to mark where this building that is buried under the sand dunes is, and then because no one's been here for 5 years or whatever, it's been covered up entirely by the shifting sand dunes. So even the pole disappeared.
Okay. So Greg's gonna float back up and relay that. I believe that perhaps we should start digging, but then cover our tracks. Also, remove this pole. Unless we want the true survivors to... Can we still see the true survivors' dust trail?
Yeah, it's like maybe 50 kilometers away.
Okay.
When you fly up. How far away is the curvature of the Earth? 22 kilometers or something like that?
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah,
I think it's something like that.
That's when you're standing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, indeed. So, like, if the drone flew up, you'd be able to see.
Yeah. So I just sent the drone up. Okay. So yes, I guess we'll start digging. Unless anyone else has a different idea.
So you pull out the pole. That'll give you an idea of how far down you need to dig.
Oh yeah, how far is it?
It's a 3-meter long pole. You've got to dig down through 3 meters of sand dune.
Okay, so I think that's what Greg is for.
Yeah.
So
as you dig, you can make a box around you that stops more sand flowing there.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So that'll be...
I'm going to carve us a tunnel.
All right, so you make me a roll, and we'll determine how much time it takes based on your roll.
I just want to double check which skill it is.
Yeah, Can we help him if we stand like in the area of effect and dig?
I think that's more likely to get you killed than to help.
Yeah, probably. Now that I'm, like I said, not really a physics angel.
Yeah, not a physics angel.
That's +2.
The Angel Core taught you everything you needed to know. +2?
Yeah.
All right, so it's going to take you till evening to dig this hole.
What time is it now?
Probably midday.
Well,
I have 1 fate point left I can spend to speed things up, but that's my last fate point until I get a compel.
You can ask for a compel whenever you want.
Yeah, you can ask me to compel. That's a thing you asked me to do.
I know. So you know what? I'm going to spend my fate points and use my everything can be disassembled aspects.
Yep.
This
everything
like
can. You've gotten really good at disassembling sand lately.
Yeah.
Especially after that Egypt business and now this. So you're like, I know how to break down sand. So we'll say that it's late afternoon when you finally get down to it, and there's like there's like a metal plate, and then there's like almost like a submarine hatch or tank hatch, sort of round door on top. And that round door is maybe like half a meter up off the flat steel platform. So like that probably stuck just above the sand or just below when this was a base in use. So that's probably why the pole was next to it, so that they could spot it from far away if they ever needed to.
With the +4, can I place some sort of cover at the top so that we could cover our tracks so they can't see?
You sure could, but your car's still right on top of you.
Yeah. That's unless we want to spend more time for me to make a garage for it again.
Let's just get in.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll just drop the car in not on the top of a dune, in like the down of a
something that
nearby.
Something that might be worth getting between runs, now that you've had this happen twice, is some kind of car tarp, and then just change the color depending on like where you guys are racing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, in this case, we could have just thrown sand on top of it too.
You couldn't have thrown sand on top of it. You would have needed to bury it.
You need to bury the car.
That's true.
Yeah.
That'd be horrible.
I mean,
so
like,
I'm thinking,
If Yuri's okay with that, while you're digging the tunnel, we could be burying the car.
I don't think I want to bury the car.
That's not a practical solution.
Yeah.
It would take you just as much time, and you'd be exhausted afterwards.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, no, we should just hide the car, like maybe a kilometer away. And then I'll make the whole... We'll get rid of the pole.
Well, okay, so true survivors don't have drones. They're ground troopers. For whatever reason, they don't do aerial stuff. So, unless they stumble across your car, you should be fine. If you set it up to look like your car is camp, if they see you from far away and and it looks like you're just resting for the night.
That's true.
Yeah.
So just set up camp while they're waiting. Like, the worst thing that happens is they come over and they get inside with you, and then it's just like, oh well, we get to this part of the mission. We gotta race through the base.
Yeah. Yeah, that worked. Well, you guys do that. I'm making a hole, and I think we should at least get rid of the flag, so it doesn't give it away.
But yeah, you have the entrance to the base. I guess that's the end of the run. You did all right.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Go
tell
us.
me on here how long this is. One viewer who is watching, send me a tweet and tell me how long this is so far. All right, cool. So how'd you guys find that?
Good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Next run is actually inside the base.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yeah, so I think when we were planning for this to be in the Gobi Desert, you guys were like, oh yeah, that'll make it more interesting. If you want to make it more... make the actual race driving part more interesting, places that have denser stuff is gonna make it more interesting. So it doesn't have to be a city. Like if you guys are in a forest, for example, or like mountains, that gives me more terrain variability. Like Gobi Desert, I've got sand dunes. I could have thrown a sandstorm at you, but that's like... Yeah, indeed. We could have deruded it. So if that's like a thing, that's the thing to remember for the future. If your goal is to make the race part more complicated, then like the Romanian Alps, for example, has like there's caves and shit that go right the way through those mountains, like naturally formed caves, but you don't know if they're going to go all the way through until you get in them. They're also jagged as fuck and dense with forest. So, like, that's an example of an area that would be really interesting to race in. Or what's another one that might be fun? Anywhere in Western Europe, because it's going to be like city, 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 open road, city, city, open road, city.
Yeah.
Like, because you're just going to be constantly hitting towns and stuff.
Or the bottom of the ocean.
Or the bottom of the ocean. I'll come up with something for bottom of the ocean.
That's hard to drive on.
Real hard to drive on. I've played the Mad Max video game. It is hard to drive on the bottom of the ocean.
But isn't there no ocean left then?
Yeah, the start of the first area in the Mad Max video game is like a part where the ocean has receded.
Oh, right.
So like you're driving on old ancient seabed. It's such a good looking game, and it's fun to play, but it really suffers as a driving around game by the fact that there is no radio in it. But like there wouldn't be a radio in Mad Max, but it's just like, yep, driving around the desert. It looks fucking gorgeous, but holy fucking bored.
Should we sign off?
Yes, indeed. So I hope you guys enjoyed listening to that. Do you guys have anything you want to plug?
Listen to the Ragnarok podcast. I don't know when this is posting, but our Eclipse Phase campaign is either wrapping up or has wrapped up.
I think. How close are you to the end of that? Time of recording?
We are 2 sessions behind, I think, what we just posted.
By the time this episode airs on our actual website, that will have just finished.
All right. Well, then check that out.
Yeah. And also check out our Dungeon World campaign which should be
Yes.
starting.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yes, it's a good one.
Yeah. Finn? Don't
You
you
can
have-
find me on Twitter.
Don't you have a magazine or something coming out?
Oh,
is
we're
that
launching
just-
we're launching an anthology. Yeah, if you follow me on Twitter at Finbar Neil, which is FINBAHNEILL, all one word. I tweet about any projects I'm doing at the time. Because I'm also a designer, importantly.
Indeed.
So I design some
Finn-
things and books and stuff.
Yeah,
Cool.
so you can check out that from Finn. All right, cool. So farewell from the past. I'm Raymond.